Imagine two people carrying water home. The first person has a large bucket. The second has a smaller one. So naturally, you would expect the larger bucket to bring home more water. But there is one problem. The large bucket has several tiny holes in the bottom. One hole is small. Another is almost invisible. None looks serious. But with every step, a little water disappears, drop by drop. By the time both people reach home, something strange has happened. The smaller bucket is holding more water, not because it received more, because it lost less. At 48, Yumi realized her salary worked exactly the same way. Every payday, the number in her bank account looked healthy. Then, rent came out. Groceries, transport, a convenience store stop, a forgotten subscription. One online purchase, a dinner ordered because nobody had planned. Nothing looked disastrous. But near the end of every month, Yumi found herself asking the same question. Where did all the money go? For years, she assumed the answer was simple. She needed a bigger salary. But eventually, she discovered something more useful. Before trying to pour more money into the bucket, she needed to find the holes. Yumi worked at the front desk of a small dental clinic outside Tokyo. Her income was ordinary. Her husband's income was predictable too. They lived in a normal home. They didn't buy luxury cars. They weren't taking expensive vacations every few months. They didn't think of themselves as reckless spenders. And yet, the final week of the month always felt tighter than it should. Yumi had one habit that seemed sensible. Whenever she wanted to buy something, she opened her banking app. If the balance looked healthy, she thought, we can afford it. That was the trap. Because the money in the account was not one thing. Some of it was already electricity. Some of it was already insurance. Some of it was groceries for the next 3 weeks. Some belonged to school costs. Some should have belonged to savings. But because all the money sat in one account, it looked available. Eventually, Yumi began using a very simple idea associated with Kakeibo, making money visible before it disappears. Not complicated accounting, not 20 categories, not a perfect spreadsheet, just a better order of decisions. And the first decision changed everything. Principle 1. Give money a job before life gives it one. Most people wait too long to decide what money is for. The paycheck arrives. The account looks full. Then life begins volunteering that money for things. A meal out, a sale, a subscription, a small upgrade, something for the house. Then, at the end of the month, whatever survives is called savings. Often, very little survives. Yumi reversed the order. On payday, she stopped seeing one large balance. She began seeing separate jobs, housing, bills, groceries, transport, savings, personal spending, unexpected expenses. Imagine, only as an example, that a household receives $4,000 after tax. Instead of thinking, we have $4,000, they might decide immediately, $1,500 for housing and fixed bills, $800 for groceries and household needs, $350 for transport, $400 for savings, $250 for personal spending. The rest for other obligations and a buffer. The numbers will be different for every household. But the principle is the same. Money without a job eventually gets recruited by something unimportant. This changed Yumi's first payday question. She stopped asking, how much money came in? She started asking, how much money is actually free after the important jobs are protected? That number was much smaller, but it was also much more honest. Still, another problem appeared. Even if Yumi knew how much she could spend during the month, she didn't know how fast she could spend it. Principle 2. A monthly budget needs a speed limit. Suppose your grocery budget is $800. On day 1, $800 feels generous. You do a large grocery shop. Then you buy toiletries. Then a few household things. Then a few household things. By day 10, perhaps $350 is already gone. The month has barely started. This was Yumi's second discovery. A monthly budget without pacing can disappear early. So she broke some flexible expenses into weeks. Instead of seeing one large grocery amount, she saw roughly 4 smaller portions. Not because every week had to be identical. Some weeks naturally cost more. But now she could see when week 1 was stealing from week 3. That matters. Because overspending early creates artificial poverty later. And late-month pressure creates bad decisions. You use a credit card. You borrow from next month. You order food because planning has collapsed. You delay something important. The problem wasn't always that the monthly budget was too small. Sometimes the problem was that the money moved too fast. The shift. Choose one flexible category that regularly gets away from you. Groceries. Eating out. Personal spending. Household purchases. Divide the monthly amount into weekly guideposts. Not prison walls, guideposts. Because a paycheck doesn't only need a destination, it needs a pace. But even after Yumi did this, one old habit kept pulling her backward. Her bank balance still looked richer than she really was. Principle 3. Your bank balance is not spending permission. One afternoon, Yumi saw a balance of 180,000 yen. She felt comfortable. But perhaps 70,000 yen was already needed for upcoming bills. Another portion was meant for food. Another portion belonged to savings. Another was needed for transport. The number on the screen was correct. But psychologically, it was lying to her. A bank balance answers, how much money is in this account? It does not answer, how much can I safely spend today? So Yumi created a much smaller number, her genuinely flexible money. That was the number she looked at before optional purchases, not the total account. This small change added friction. And friction is sometimes exactly what money needs. Digital spending is designed to feel almost weightless. Tap, click, order, done. The money disappears without ever feeling physical. But when Yumi had to look at a smaller handwritten amount, the purchase became real. A 6,000 yen purchase feels very different when you are staring at 180,000 yen than when you know you only have 18,000 yen of truly flexible money left. The shift. Create one number, available to spend. Not rent money, not bill money, not savings, not future grocery money, only what is genuinely free. That number gives you a much more honest answer than your bank balance. And once Yumi stopped being fooled by the big number, she finally noticed where the little leaks were hiding. Principle 4. Find the leaks you wouldn't miss. Yumi initially blamed the big expenses. Rent, utilities, insurance. They were large, but they were also obvious. The interesting money was disappearing somewhere else. A convenience store stop after work. A subscription she barely used. A delivery fee. A household product bought because it was discounted. A small online order added only to reach free shipping. None of these felt important. That was exactly why they were dangerous. Think again about the bucket. A huge crack gets repaired. Everyone notices it. But a tiny hole can survive for months. Because it never looks urgent. So Yumi tried something simple. For 7 days, she wrote down every optional purchase. Then she asked one question beside each. Was this worth it? Not. Was this cheap? Not. Was this necessary? Just, Would I happily spend this money again? Some purchases were worth it. A meal with her family, a coffee she genuinely enjoyed, a small treat for Haru. Those stayed, but others barely created any memory at all. That was the important category. Money you spend but don't even enjoy is the easiest money to keep. The shift. Don't begin by cutting the things you love. Begin with the things you barely remember buying. That doesn't feel like deprivation. It feels like plugging a leak. And then Yumi learned that some leaks don't come from habits. They come from moments of excitement. Principle 5. Let desire cool down. One day, Haru wanted a new pair of headphones. His old ones still worked. The new pair looked better. The reviews were good. And technically, the household had enough money. Yumi's old habit would have been simple. Check the bank account. Balance looks okay. Buy them. But now she did something different. She wrote the purchase down and waited. That was all. No lecture. No immediate refusal. Just time. Because desire has a temperature. When you first see something you want, desire is hot. Tomorrow, it is usually cooler. A week later, sometimes it disappears completely. Modern shopping tries to remove that cooling period. Limited stock. Order now. One-click checkout. Delivery tomorrow. Everything says, decide before the feeling changes. Yumi learned to do the opposite. For smaller wants, wait 24 hours. For larger optional purchases, wait several days. Maybe a week. And instead of saying, I can't buy this, she told herself, I can decide later. That matters. Restriction creates resistance. Delay creates clarity. Haru kept using the old headphones. A few days passed. The urgency disappeared, and the money stayed. The shift. When you want something optional, don't immediately say yes or no. Create distance. A surprising number of purchases cannot survive a few quiet days. But Yumi found another strange problem. Sometimes money became available and disappeared even faster. Principle 6. When money becomes free, give it a new job immediately. Imagine paying $200 every month toward a debt. Then one day, the debt ends. You should suddenly feel $200 richer every month. And for a little while, you do. Then 3 months pass. Somehow the $200 is gone again. Maybe dinners got slightly better. Maybe more shopping happened. Maybe convenience increased. Nothing dramatic. The lifestyle simply expanded, until the freed money became invisible. Yumi learned a powerful rule. When an expense ends, the money needs a new job before your lifestyle notices it. A subscription is canceled? Redirect that amount. A debt payment ends? Redirect it. A temporary school expense disappears? Decide where the money goes before the next payday. Savings. Emergency fund. Investment. Another important goal. The destination depends on the household. The principle doesn't. You were already living without that money. So redirecting it does not require a new sacrifice. You are simply stopping your lifestyle from quietly absorbing it. The shift. Think of one expense that might end in the next year. Decide today where that money will go afterward. Because free money is easiest to protect before it starts feeling free. And after several months of doing all this, something surprising happened to Yumi. Her life did not suddenly look wealthier. It looked calmer. Principle 7. The first sign of wealth is space. Yumi still worked at the same clinic. Same salary, Same house. She still bought treats. The family still ate out sometimes. Unexpected costs still happened. Nothing looked dramatically different from the outside, but the final week of the month felt different. She wasn't constantly checking the banking app. She wasn't wondering whether the electricity payment would make the account uncomfortable. She wasn't borrowing from next month's money. Why? Because more of the month had already been decided. That was the deeper lesson. Making a paycheck last is not really about squeezing every possible cent. It is about reducing uncertainty. Knowing the rent is safe. Knowing groceries still have room. Knowing a surprise will not automatically become debt. Knowing part of today's paycheck belongs to a future version of you. People often imagine financial freedom as a giant number, but its first form is usually much smaller. First, you reach the end of the month without fear. Then, you can handle a surprise. Then, you can say no to something because you don't desperately need the money. Then, you begin to have options. And options are where freedom starts. A paycheck that lasts creates space. And financial space becomes peace. Before your next paycheck begins disappearing, try this. Take one sheet of paper. Write your income at the top. Then answer 5 questions. 1. What must be paid? Housing, utilities, debt, insurance. Essential obligations. 2. What must be protected? Savings, emergency money, future goals. 3. What must last the whole month? Groceries, transport, household expenses. 4. What can I enjoy without guilt? Give yourself a realistic personal amount. A budget that allows no enjoyment often doesn't survive. 5. What stays as a buffer? Because real life will never behave like a perfect spreadsheet. Then choose at least one flexible category and divide it into weekly guideposts. That's enough. You do not need 20 categories. You need enough clarity to stop treating every dollar in the account as available. YUMI still checks her bank account, but not for permission. Now, she already knows what most of the money is supposed to do, and that changed the entire month. Not because her salary suddenly became large, because fewer decisions were happening accidentally. Remember the 2 buckets. The bigger bucket wasn't losing because it received too little. It was losing because the holes were never closed. Your finances can work the same way. Sometimes earning more is absolutely important. But while you are working toward more income, you can still protect more of what already reaches you. So for the next 7 days, try one experiment. Before every optional purchase, write down the item and the amount. Don't forbid yourself from buying it. Just make the purchase visible before it happens. Then wait long enough to ask, will I actually be glad I spent this? That tiny pause may teach you more about your money than another month of staring at your bank balance. Because sometimes, the fastest way to carry more water home isn't finding a bigger bucket, it's closing the holes in the one you already have. If you enjoy practical ideas about money, simplicity, and peaceful living through a Japanese lens, subscribe to Quiet Japanese Wisdom.